Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for some more Forza Horizon 3. Today I'm sharing with you the 2015 Mercedes-AMG GT S, and we're going to start off in the Forzavista so I can show you the car. Then we're going to move over to some racing gameplay so you can see how the car performs, and finally we're going to end off with some free roam gameplay so you can hear the sounds of this thing, because this thing crackles and pops and makes a lot of cool noises, and I really like the way this car sounds. But it's got a beautiful bi-turbo or twin-turbo V8 motor which pumps out 500 horsepower, just under 500 torque. The car does weigh 3,600 pounds just about, which is kind of surprising. It doesn't really look like it would weigh that much, and it looks a little awkward from the side just because of how long the front end of the car is, and because of that I'm also a little bit curious how they managed to get 53% of the weight in the back of this thing, especially considering the motors in the front. But I thought the yellow looked really good in this car because of the yellow interior stitching and also the yellow brake calipers. So really cool car though, loved the way it looks, especially from the back ends, but really nice car overall. So let's talk about the performance of this thing. Does it drive as good as it looks? And I have to say it drives very well, but it's certainly not perfect. So it is rear-wheel drive, and it's near the low to kind of middle part of the S1 class. And the thing is though, I thought the performance was actually going to be better than it ended up being when I first drove it. When I first drove it I was like, damn, this is going to be a really good car. But then I went to race it and I realized it does have weaknesses. So the launch is actually good though. Like I said, 53% of the weight is somehow in the back of this thing, so the grip isn't bad off the launch. Right when you hit second gear you're going to have full grip. But the main issue is when you're going around turns you do need throttle control, and the grip on this thing is by no means bad, but it's not perfect and it's not good enough to compete with some cars that are in the S1 class when it's stock. So you're definitely going to want to make the grip a little bit better, and that leads to another weakness though, is the top end acceleration. Now first, second, and I guess I'd say third gear feels pretty fast and is pretty fast, but right when you get to like fourth gear and past that, the car does start to feel a little bit sluggish and a lot slower than the competition, and I was not an unbeatable difficulty for this race, so that's certainly one thing that needs improvement. I mean, this thing has a 7-speed transmission, and the good thing is that it shifts very fast. I mean, that's one thing that kind of somewhat, not really I guess, makes up for the acceleration. But the thing is, if you're adding acceleration, you really need to make sure that you maintain the grip when you go to build this thing, because if you don't, you're just going to be sliding all over the place, and that acceleration really isn't going to help you when you're trying to race this thing, especially without traction control. Obviously with traction control on, that's really not something you have to worry about, but the top speed is just under 200 miles per hour, which is fine for this car. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit slow for the top of the S1 class for sure, so when you upgrade it, you're obviously going to get more top speed, and I think the car will be fine. But the braking on this thing is very good, very strong brakes on this thing, and I love the way the yellow calipers look on this car as well. But the handling is good. I mean, this car turns very well, and as long as you just have a little bit of throttle control to maintain the grip, the car has no problem turning very responsively. So overall, I love the feel of the car, but it does need work, and you're going to have to be very careful if you want to build this thing for the S1 class, because you do need to make the acceleration better. But if you do that, you really got to be careful and make sure you keep the grip balanced with that acceleration. But I love the thing, looks really good, sounds great, which you're going to hear the sounds very shortly, and overall it's just a lot of fun to drive. I mean, the 7-speed transmission, honestly I didn't get past like 5th or 6th when I was racing it, so 7th gear you don't usually get to because of how slow the acceleration is top end. So if you do upgrade this thing, maybe it'll be useful. But I like the car a lot, like I said, so I'd love to hear everyone else's opinion on this AMG GT S in Forza Horizon 3. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Peace out.